Welcome to the Make It Happen with Will Polston podcast.
Biohacking, it sounds very complicated. I think a lot of people have certainly heard about it in recent years. It's becoming more and more, I'm going to say fashionable, but not just fashionable. Obviously, a lot more people these days are taking their health a lot more seriously. So for people that maybe aren't aware of what biohacking is and maybe haven't heard about it before, what is it?
It is, in very simple terms, health optimization. That's what it is. It's known for its funky technology or supplements or bulletproof coffee, which is obviously where the father of biohacking, came from with his bulletproof coffee, which we can touch on in a bit. But it is, defined as the art and science of optimizing the environment inside of you and outside of you to take control of your own biology, which is the goal to optimize your health. The label obviously is very well known on biohacking. It's a funky term. It's really made health fashionable. But with my European friends and colleagues, biohacking, while it is at the forefront, it's not quite so accessible to the general population, which is why I relabeled my conference, my digital course, obviously, Health Optimization Summit and Health Optimization Program. Because actually, once upon a time, my mum said to me, what's a biohacker? And I said, it's someone that optimizes their health using, supplements, nature, technology, and all these things. So really, it's much more understood that way.
Absolutely. And I think by you saying that, and obviously you've made a strategic decision to change various names, is that if every time someone says, what's biohacking, you explain it as health optimization, they go, oh, right, now I get it. It makes sense. But you've already mentioned there's various sort of tech and certain products that you can use and products that you can not use as well. Things that we use in our everyday life that we've used for our whole lives that we either cut out or use in a different way to how people would normally use it. But what I would also like to touch on, what you just mentioned, is the art and science of health optimization, because it's not just this creative thing of, we're going to try all these new different crazy plant-based medicines and do all this crazy stuff. There is a science to being able to replicate the outcome. So for you personally, when you're looking to optimize your health, what's the outcome that you're optimizing for?
Well, it's a really good question. I just want to touch on something, just because people that hear the label biohacking, they often say, is that like having a chip implant, for instance, like transhumanism? It's not. That's transhumanism, or editing I always say this, actually, editing your cat's genes so it glows in the dark, which is really well known in the CRISPR movement. That's not biohacking as we know it. The media may push that to make it sound more extreme, but it's not that at all. So I think that's one thing I just want to define, because people listening to this might think, biohacking is that crazy weird stuff. It's not. It's very, very simple, but tracking. So for me, my goal is always optimal health. And then obviously you've got subsets within that. So, what do you define as optimal health? Do you have a migraine once a week or once a month, or, you have really bad hangovers that you didn't used to get, for instance? That could be a goal. Or are you fatigued, or you don't sleep properly, or you wake 3 times in the night or twice in the night to go pee when you didn't used to, you always have an ache or a pain or a dodgy knee, or whatever the goal may be. It's really an individualized approach to optimizing or fixing something that's gone wrong. Now, obviously there's 2 sides of this. And I think number one is, are you doing it to fix something that's gone wrong? Or are you doing something to make sure that something doesn't go wrong? So think of it like, servicing your car once a year. You do it even when it hasn't gone wrong. You don't like the bill, but the point is, it stops you breaking down on the motorway. So we have that approach with our cars most of the time. And in fact, the government force us to get our cars MOT'd every year so that it doesn't necessarily not break down, but it is, safe. We don't necessarily do that with our bodies. We only go to the doctors when we're ill. So that's one thing just to define within it. There's 2 subsets: the sick people that are the most motivated, and they will do whatever they have to do. The doctors haven't been able to help them because chronic health issues aren't generally well dealt with in the traditional medical system, but emergency care is. So when something's gone wrong, they're good at cleaning it up, Chronic stuff, not so much. And that's really where biohacking comes in. It helps you prevent, so preventative health. It's good. That's why it's really well adopted with the smart guys that are the high performers, the billionaires that are out there, reach out and want to work with me because they want to make sure that they can operate at 100% all the time. And when they've had a taste of this, they realize how much of an edge they can have over everyone else, whether a city trader or a performance athlete. Once they know, and they're stuck to it. The same as the motivation with someone that's ill that would do anything to get back out on the street again because they're stuck in bed. And then the general population, which don't realize the power of it, that actually should be preventing their health by implementing some of these things.
You can find the full episodes of the Make It Happen with Will Polston podcast here on YouTube, on iTunes, Spotify, and all other major podcast platforms.